Welcome back to TBI Talk. So I have a few things to talk about today that that I struggle with, and I don't have, as a survivor of TBI, I need help as well as some instruction and some guidance on maybe how I can improve these videos to reach somebody that has their injury like you, or so if you have any suggestions or you'd like to see a topic to be discussed or any kind of guidance or direction on what I can do to improve and maybe reach somebody with your type of injury, please contact me with my email or leave a comment on what to maybe talk about. Because this is a team effort. I believe anybody that's survived, we're a team. That's what the way that I want to approach this as a team, because this is not about me. This is about everybody that's had a similar situation or an experience with recovery and hurdles that yet you overcome or have been able to successfully circumvent or whatever. I'm not sure if I'm using the right language even, but that's, I need help. I need help to improve this channel and maybe give someone inspiration. And if you're a survivor of any kind of incident and you were successful and have been able to overlook some of the struggles and whatever, contact me, because I'll make a video with you. I want as many people because we all have different outcomes of our kind of injury. My struggle is still filtering what I say and my emotions, being able to handle my emotions. And I haven't been able to overcome it. So if you have any ways to overcome filters and emotional outbursts, please leave me comments to help me, because those are the two main things. Now there's other things too that I struggle with. My injury was also some physical issues. My ankle they were going to amputate my foot. My mom refused to let them do that. So now I have a fused ankle, so I can't bend my foot. So I struggle going up and down stairs, and that's something else. And then also my breathing, I don't always breathe right, and I also can't smell or taste. Now I find positives out of everything. So what I'm going to say there is the positive with not being able to smell or taste. If my wife passes gas, I don't smell it. So that's my positive. I find something positive out of everything. And if you're willing to help me or give me some directions that would maybe improve what I'm doing, because this is only about helping someone that's new, because after all, I live in America. We're spoiled. We are very, very spoiled in America. We have no idea what it's like to live in. I can only imagine if I lived in Africa and had a TBI or a stroke. I'm not sure how those people are treated, or if they have groups to attend or what, but we might be able to reach someone like that, because the internet now makes this a worldwide, a worldwide ability to share things like this. So maybe someone like that would need inspiration or something, because they don't have groups or they don't have doctors that are as wise or have as much instruction or whatever. But we're spoiled in America. Let's be a team on this and help others that are trying to overcome this and trying to overcome some of the struggles. And like I said, I don't know everything. I don't expect you to believe everything that I say. I only say what I know is the truth, and I don't lie, because I know God knows everything. He knows everything. He knows every thought, every whisper, every action, everything you say. He knows everything. So therefore, I'm not going to ever lie. I only try to share what I know as being the truth. And the Bible is difficult, because the Bible, there's many people that have many different interpretations of the Bible. So I usually stick to the Bible that I know doesn't need interpretation, because there's many verses that I'll share over the course of time that don't need interpretation. They're really simple. There's no need to interpret it. It basically says it. But anyways, I try to find something positive out of every situation, no matter how bad, no matter how nefarious people might be or how unloving people might be. I try to find something positive out of every situation because there's always something I can learn. But again, I need help. I want this to be a team effort. The local people that I have in groups and stuff have done some interviews and what have you. But maybe I need to reach people that don't have it. I think we have the ability to be able to do an interview that would be like on Zoom or something like that, to where we could do it where you don't have to be, within driving range of me. But if you've successfully overcome, call me or email me so we can do an interview to share your experience and your situation and the way you were able to successfully get over things, because this is a huge issue in the world, and worldwide. This is a huge issue, and most people don't understand because they see you physically better, but they don't understand the brain has long-term effect. The brain injury has long-term effects that you can't see, and so therefore, that's why I'm the main reason why I'm doing these videos is because I'm a survivor, but it doesn't mean I know everything. I will never claim to know everything. But if I bring up a Bible verse, don't try to tell me I'm wrong if you don't have something in the Bible to back it up, because that's the one place I go that I know it won't lie to me. It won't tell me. It's going to try to give me guidance on how to live my life and how to stay in a good relationship with our Father, because it's our Father. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, what denomination you are, or any of that. That's all the sticky rat trying to get us any way he can. And that's what divides so many of us. Race and religion and denominations and whatever it is. Money, music, Hollywood. There's all he has so many ways to get us. But ultimately, the real battle is the battle for our souls and where we spend the eternity. And with that being said, there are a few things that I want to talk specifically about today. And again, I only share these things from my experience. I'm not saying that it will work for you, but this is what's worked for me. And given my upbringing and the way that I was 100% ice cold, not everybody's going to have that kind of a background or whatever, but these are just things that I share because, and shout out to Melinda. Melinda Conley sent me a text when I talked about not having enough interviews. And she's going to do an interview, but she's overcoming some of her hurdles, but it gave me inspiration to continue on doing this. Thank you, Melinda. God bless you. But anyways, one of the things that I was with my grandson yesterday in the grocery store. And for some reason, the topic came up about the word. I don't say this word for a reason. I spell it out. Quit. That word is not in my vocabulary. I don't ever say that word because that's not something I'm ever going to do. And one of the reasons why is because I've had so many struggles and things that happened to me as a child and things that happened to me as an adult and just my struggles in life. That word ain't something I'm not doing that. And there's a song that goes something like, let me continue. I'm going to be like Iraq and see what's next on the menu. Mike Checker, the rim and rhyme wrecker, rocks from here to Mecca, boom, shaka laka laka. I'm not sure who even sang that song. I think it was Shaquille O'Neal with some other group, but that line, let me continue. I'm gonna be like Iraq and see what's next on the menu, is what I use to say no. Try again next week, sticky rat. Try again next week, and that was a phrase. Try again next week, and it was end with something else. But what I use now is try again next week, sticky rat. You ain't getting me this week. Better try, come back, because he's not omnipresent. He'll come around and try to get you. But if you stay strong and say, no, you ain't getting me like that, And then where I got that phrase from, the try again next week, blank, was from my friend Donnie McCoy, which I mentioned in this an earlier video. And he was my dog, man. He was my dog. That was my boy. But anyways, one of the reasons why him and I hit it off was because we became a team. So I was a very small white boy in a predominantly African American school. So, that was a challenge, because back then in the 70s and 80s, the way that whites and blacks mingled was not the same as it is today. It wasn't, there was many memories and things, information given to young black folks about slavery and the way they were treated, and that's understandable. I get it. So I struggled with being in a classroom with, people they would say I was crazy. I was a crazy white boy, crazy cracker. But anyways, so one of the things that him and I did was we kind of became a team. So because he was physically gifted and I was, for whatever reason, mentally gifted, and this is the other thing about creation. We are all created. We are all part of God's creation. And each one of us has individual characteristics or physical ability that can be used as part of a team. And that's exactly what I did. I took advantage of the fact that he was a brother and he was physically gifted, and he would stick up for me if I would give him answers to tests. Now I'm not saying this is a good recommendation as far as cheating, but he would sit next to me in classrooms, and I would just, we would go question by question, and I would give him answers so he could pass, and he would look out for me. That's how our relationship started when we were in elementary school. And then as time progressed, we just always looked out for each other however we could. But that's one reason why I liked it. One reason why I liked him, because he looked out for me. He would stand up for me, because I didn't have the size. I was a very small white boy. I'm 5'6", right now. So as an adult, so I don't remember exactly how tall I was back then, but I was a very small individual. And the other thing I want to point out is, after I found the Lord and realized the way that most people treat me, is they might say they love me out their mouth, but it's conditional love. Conditional love sucks. And the Lord's love and God's love for me, that's why I stick so strong with him, is because his love is unconditional. Look, I was ice cold. I was 100% ice cold. And now I'm going to try to be boiling hot. And I always tell my children I love them unconditionally. I tell strangers I love them unconditionally. I tell my family I love them unconditionally, because after what God did for me and the way he's worked in my life, I'm going to try to show unconditional love to strangers or people that I interact with, because we're all up against this battle for our souls, for eternity. How you interact with human beings, the sticky rat will try to use whoever he can, and human beings may not even realize it. Just like Stephen the martyr, as he was getting stoned, and Paul was watching, the one that wrote 13 books of the New Testament, was watching this happen. As he was getting stoned, he said, "Forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do." And that's the way I approach things now. I don't fear death. I know where I'm going. 100% in my head, I know where I'm going and where I'm going to spend eternity. And that's going to be an amazing, amazing experience. There's going to be nothing else like it. And I don't believe in hell, you burn in hell forever. You just simply realize that you're not going to heaven. That's punishment enough. That's just my belief. Now, you can leave comments to say that I'm wrong and back it up with the Bible. Then I'll study it and see if you're right. But as of right now, that's the way I believe. Your punishment is not knowing you're not going to heaven. You know what I'm saying? That's enough. And then the last thing is, verse that I memorized. So I as a child went to church and read the Bible and what have you, and I always wondered about the fourth commandment. Everybody would talk about, the 9 other commandments and say they're sins and they're this and they're that, but I never really remember any preaching on the fourth commandment. So I've always questioned it my whole life. Well, then I also read Revelation 13, and I always wondered what a beast was. I thought it was some kind of dragon or some crazy animal or whatever. But I'll have to talk about this on another video, but what I want to share today is John 14:15. John 14:15 says, and this is Jesus talking, "If you love me, keep my commandments." So when I read that, and it's like it's like the Bible I read is different than everybody else's Bible, because when I read that, that tells me it doesn't say 9 commandments, it doesn't say 8 commandments, it says keep my commandments. And he is God in the flesh. So therefore, how did I take that? Since I was 100% ice cold, I'm going to be 100% boiling hot. That means I'm going to follow all 10 commandments. Otherwise, I won't say I love them. Because if I say I love them and I don't keep the 10 commandments, that means I'm lying, right? Help me out here. Help me out here. Tell me I'm crazy, whatever. But that's just the way and again, this is just my experience. This is just the way I feel about that. And then also, the last thing I'll share is my daughter, Amber, shout out to Amber. The other day, I was on the phone with her. We do FaceTime videos. And I was on the phone with her. She's like, "You're Weird Al Grampovich." So, but I don't care what anybody says about it. I can laugh about anything. I'm going to find something positive. So go ahead, call me that. I'm just being myself. This is who I am. So if that's what you want to call me that. Weird Al Grampovich. What?